This Friday, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan are back to switch things up in Disney's Freakier Friday.
Totally, yes.
It's an absolute riot, and the only movie that can be described as
So much weirder than the last time.
What last time?
it's the frequel
You ready?
we've been waiting for.
That absolutely slays.
What deeply out of touch old person came up with that?
You did.
Wow.
Don't miss the comedy event of the summer for all ages. Disney's Freakier Friday in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
It's Wednesday Addams. I see you're trying to distract yourself from your own banal thoughts. Let me help. Here's a recording thing made of my latest root canal.
Wednesday, Season 2, begins August 6th, only on Netflix.
Hello, Nigel here. As an owl, I love to be awake all night, but allergy sufferers like you probably don't feel the same. So take Zysol at night to relieve allergies while you sleep. Then wake up fully refreshed for a more productive day. Zysol works fast and offers 24-hour continuous relief from sneezing, runny nose, itchy watery eyes, and itchy nose and throat, so you can enjoy doing the things you love all day long. Be Wisol. Take Zysol at night. Use as directed. Starts working in 45 minutes.
Pie in the Sky Media. This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence throughout. Listener discretion is advised.
There we go. We're live. 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation. Let me get the mic right in front of me to another episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Branden. Another bonus episode, I should say. I'm the Branden of that dynamic duo. With me, as always, we're lucky to have her, but we don't deserve her, Carolyn Osorio. Carolyn, how are you? Wait, are you looking forward to meeting me for the first time in person in 2 days? 3 days.
I've role played this out, and I was like thinking, I'm gonna like have my speaker with like some kind of either Bruce Springsteen and like, hey,
Yeah, from Say Anything. Terrific. You should. Above your head. Okay. Yeah, Nation.
Exactly.
So believe it or not, though
that
Carolyn and
too
I
much?
we've worked together for years and hundreds of podcast episodes. We've never met in person. It was a COVID era work introduction, and we've obviously extended that into a partnership, and have never met in person. She's in Seattle, I'm in LA, but we're meeting on Thursday for the first time in Portland to get some work done on a different project that you'll hear about soon, and to do some criminal mischief work and take some glamour shots, and maybe have some food, and see if we drive each other crazy in person.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, I'm sure
You know
we
what? It's gonna be one of those weird things where it's like you're gonna know right away. Like if you have like these really long, like who was the guy that owned Pan Am that like peed in a cup and like had long fingernails and
Howard Hughes, and it was TWA. It was Howard Hughes, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Spruce Goose guy. Yeah.
Howard
It's
Hughes.
like it's gonna be one of those things where
Is
it's
that
like,
what I'm gonna think of you? Do you pee in a cup and have super long fingernails? And
I'm gonna think that's what I'm gonna think of you because there's nuances that people do. There are.
but I don't have any. You know what's weird? I had something very similar to this happen just a couple weeks ago. I might be producing another show for a person who's somewhat of a celebrity, right? He's been on TV for a really, really long time, and he invited me to go to a World Series game with him. Okay, and I was like, sure. We'd never met. We'd spoken on the phone a bunch of times, and we'd Zoomed a bunch of times, and then he invited me to this game, and I said, great. He said, okay, listen, I'm flying in. Like I land like 2 hours before the game starts in LA. I'm like, I'll pick you up. He goes, really? I'm like, what else? Of course. Cause then there's going to be traffic. We got to get to the game. Had never met this guy. We're circling each other for a work relationship. And he walks out and he's like, hey, I'm like, hey, he gets in the car. Boom. It's like old friends. And we spent the next 9 hours together, and it worked out great. And it turns out he's also from New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey. And so we had that. We're about the same age, and we know a lot of the same people. So it was really really kind of symbiotic, I guess, and we felt like old friends, like from the beginning. So, I doubt that's going to be the case with you because you're a lunatic. And
And that's right. And we're keeping it weird in Portland.
Portlandia, right?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Put a bird on it.
Portlandia. So I'm looking forward to it. I was in Portland one time a million years ago. In my younger days,
yeah,
I was a roadie for the band The Romantics. Okay.
What I like about you.
Yes, they have other songs than that. Okay. They have other songs. Not many, but they have other songs. Wonderful guys. And Portland was one of the stops on this West Coast tour. And cool city, wonderful public transportation, great downtown, vibrant downtown area. We had a good time. It was only there for like 24 hours, but I really enjoyed it. But that was,
they have the best bookstore in the world.
it was 30 years ago. It was 30 years ago. So we'll see how, if I doubt it's changed much. So speaking of 30 years ago, okay.
Yes, let's get to it.
So I've lived in Los Angeles just slightly longer than that, but I remember all of this. I thought I remembered all of this Menendez stuff. Okay. The murder and stuff happened before I moved here. Like the Rodney King original incident happened before I moved here, but I lived through the aftermath of the LA, of the Rodney King thing with the LA riots and everything. Right. And I was here for the OJ murder and for that whole trial. But for some reason, the Menendez trial and stuff just got by me. Like it wasn't like I wasn't watching the trial every day. I didn't really know that much about it. I knew that the kids were about my age and that they'd killed their parents. And so believe it or not, listening to this was almost my first kind of exposure to like the nuts and bolts of the case. And I knew the broad strokes. Okay. I knew that they had murdered their parents, that they had shot them, and that they had claimed it was not really self-defense, but that it was, they were abused and that the abuse had to stop. And that they were scared. And then they lost, and everyone's like, it was open and shut case. They're fucking murderers. They slaughtered their parents. But then recently, through recent media, a document, like you mentioned, a documentary and a scripted piece, and with a recent announcement that they might get resentenced.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because this case, I knew basically what you knew. I wasn't really like, I think the sound bites that I heard back in the early 90s were, they were brats. They bought, they murdered their parents and then went on the spending spree, and then they pivoted and they were abused. And I think I was just busy at that time in my life and wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I really didn't know a lot about it either. And then it just became like, when I would hear stuff about the Menendez brothers, it just seemed so just tragic, just tragic. Whatever the story was, it's like killing your parents. What did the parents, to make kids kill their parents, But now I feel completely differently. Now I feel like, I mean, it was brutal to hear them testify and to see that in, excuse me, in the clips that you heard, and having sons now of, obviously back in, the early 90s, I didn't have children, but like, just, I couldn't, it's just haunting, So I feel completely differently now.
Differently, like it was not a miscarriage of justice and that they deserve to be in jail? Is that how you feel now?
No. I definitely believe they deserve to, I feel like the manslaughter charge would have been, especially with the new evidence coming out, which we'll get to in part 2. But like, I did not know like what they were going through with these parents.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Right.
And so, and just what they went through and having to, it was painful to listen to and watch what their father did to them, and that their mother was complicit in this abuse for so long.
According to them. Right.
According to them.
And the reason I keep saying that is not because I'm in support one way or the other. It's just one of my main takeaways from this episode, I feel the same way I felt after I watched the Kevin Spacey documentary on HBO. Okay. Really compelling, horrible stories, but no counterpoint, right? No one saying, we didn't hear Kevin's side of any of it. Okay.
Yeah.
And in this case, we can't hear the parents' side because they're dead. So we don't know,
Yeah.
right? Like, there's like, how do you respond to these allegations? We can't hear from the actual people that the allegations are against. Okay. So,
Right. But
it-
this
yeah.
coupled with, and what I know and what you probably don't know is that there's other people, there's
To
another person
corroborate.
that's going to corroborate.
Right.
And this horrific abuse.
Right. And so
And
then what I would say to that is, where's this person been for the last 30 years?
we'll get to that next.
Yeah.
We'll get to that next week.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, just watching them, and I mean, I totally believed their testimony. I mean, it was so raw and awful, you know, to
I agree. It was very compelling, very, really, really uncomfortable to listen to. Like,
yeah.
super uncomfortable to listen to. Like, I didn't want to even put any music behind a lot of it, because I didn't want to like dress it up, right, or anything. And it didn't need mood music to make it more powerful. It was just stark and just listen. And
I think that that's what's so hard about this case, is that you've got these boys that, you know, what the attorney said, you know, the prosecutor was like, boys don't get sexually assaulted. This doesn't happen.
Well, that's
and
on my
it's like,
list. Yeah. It couldn't be rape because men can't be raped. Yeah. That guy should hang out in C Block with a fresh pack of cigarettes one day and see what happens.
like, you know,
Hey, you don't know about me. No, I mean, but that's
Okay.
listen, even in the 90s, it wasn't the fucking 50s, right? For someone in the 90s to say that it's impossible for a man to be raped is ridiculous. Like, I couldn't believe that. But apparently it's in the record from like 1993 in Los Angeles. Someone actually had the balls to make that argument, right? Which I find really just insane. But going back to,
I mean, hold on one second. Look
Yeah.
at what a powerful man Jose was. You
well,
know, look
hold
at,
on. Here's the other thing. He may have been a powerful man within his family, okay? But
Mhm.
creative execs who are millionaires who live in Beverly Hills, you could throw a dart out the window and hit one of those guys. It's not like he was a super powerful man in the city. He wasn't like a studio head or the head of CAA or the head of one of these big agencies or production companies. He was a creative executive.
I'm talking about like within his family.
Within his family, sure. Who knows what kind of, and again, but it's all based on the testimony of the kids, okay, who have something to gain by painting this portrait of their dad as this, you know, great man. What was the book? The Great Santini. You know that book, The Great Santini?
Mm-hmm.
True story, about just a guy with a very overbearing father. The author Pat Conroy wrote it. It was autobiographical about his dad. He also wrote The Lords of Discipline, which lets you know how his dad was a military guy. Just a very powerful, overbearing. His word is final. Okay.
And that's what you're describing Jose Menendez according to his
boys, right? And who
Yes.
knows? The kids were educated. The kid went to Princeton. I'm sure they knew who Pat Conroy was. I mean, they're basically using that archetype to describe their own dad. So all I'm trying to give our audience now are some counterpoints that didn't exist in the main episode, because I was also enthralled with this kid's testimony, but there were no counterpoints. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what part 2 is next week. But
part of it too was it. I think for me too, I think that it's never an excuse to murder anyone. Okay, let me just say that.
Never.
Well,
like never.
I mean, depending on what, I mean, in self-defense.
Someone's coming to kill you. Do you kill them first, or you let them kill you?
Well, no, that's self-defense. I said murder.
If that's murder, you're murdering someone. You're taking their life.
I mean, killing someone because I don't know. I'm not saying that if somebody was coming after my family, I mean, it would be over. Like they would not exist. I mean, if I
Okay.
and
All
so
right. So there's some wiggle room in
I
that
mean,
statement.
in this situation, they shouldn't have murdered their parents. They should have walked away. But I can see, based on listening to all of the testimony that I listened to, and it was started at such a young age with the sports and being like
Granted.
massively overly involved and like when I was a reporter, like doing regular news stories all the time, like one of the interviews that I did was on these elite sports and how these overbearing parents are just really hurting their kids by making them do all this stuff, and it's like they're reliving their glory days through these kids. And it's like, I'm not saying all of them are like that. I'm not.
I grew up in New Jersey. It's in a wrestling town, in a wrestling state. You want to see overbearing parents? Look at the parents of high level high school wrestlers. They're fucking lunatics. Okay, they're lunatics. So yeah,
And
I
that's
get
what
it.
this guy was like.
And I take your point that you can get pushed to certain extremes that normally the situation wouldn't call for if it builds up over years and years and years and years and years. Okay.
Yeah.
And you do something. And there's also an argument to be made that they were scared to the point where they didn't feel like they could go to the police or could go to family or could go to whatever. Like, so I totally get it. I totally get it in that respect. Do I also understand spoiled Beverly Hills douchey kids that just want to fast track their inheritance? Yeah. Yeah, I understand
And
that.
that's kind of where I was at when I was a young kid in 1993 and was like, I'm not invested in this, and these were brats, and they could have just walked away. They could have just, went on their own, and so I didn't. But now, all these years later, as a parent and as, I mean, in hearing the story, I feel differently. I feel like the world that these parents made, if the allegations are true, it's like a coercive control situation. We know so much more about, this toxic masculinity and this, just it's just a little bit more complicated, a lot more complicated than just like, we killed our parents because I was being abused. It's just so much more complicated than just that, you know?
Yeah. And then the crime scene, if they were trying to blame the mafia, they did a pretty good job of it by shooting people in the face, right? We all saw Goodfellas, right? That's what they do. So you can't have an open casket at the wake. Okay.
Why did your Jersey accent just go like 5'9"?
What can I tell you? It happens. But so that was horrific. That was horrific. But you know what fucked me up the most from this episode is this crooked freaking shrink that they were talking to.
I know.
Right? What's with this fucking guy? He's got a side piece who's eavesdropping on the conversations. That's ethically awful right there. Right there, he loses his license, okay? And then he gets scared for his life. So he tells the kids, "Hey, I'm on your side, but I also have something on you. So don't try anything stupid." Right? That's mafia talk right there. Hey, we're friends. Unless you betray me, then you're dead. But it's how did this guy what happened to the shrink? That's what I want to know. Is he in jail? Did he go to jail?
No, I don't think he went to jail, but I think that he was trying to. Okay, so from what I understand, and again, I haven't done a deep dive onto this case, but from what I understand, Eric, one of the brothers, I believe it was Eric, like broke into a couple houses in Calabasas, or a house in Calabasas, and so he was going on this, to mitigate any criminal charges. He had to talk to the psychiatrist or psychologist. Right. And so then after the parents were murdered, he started talking to the psychologist again. And so that's how this whole thing, and then Lyle started talking to him too. And then he kind of, as they were talking, he got the vibe of like, oh my gosh, I think these kids did it, just based on what they said and how they were saying it. I mean, they're 18 and 21 years old,
Yeah.
And as we've talked so many times before, you know, people just can't keep their mouths shut, you know, and this is clearly one of those situations. And so when Eric called him and said, I need to talk to you, I need to talk to you. And he kind of had a feeling that he had to get something off of his chest based on these previous conversations. And that's when he, sure enough, was like, hey, I just happen to have this, as you said, side piece. And hey, you listen, get your horn.
Listen to these legally protected conversations that I'm having with patients.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it was just wonky. You know, I think it was
criminal. It's criminal.
Yeah. Well, I think he was worried about kind of the patient-client privilege and what does he do? And, you know, it's kind of a unique situation. You know, you've got this really high profile. I'm not making excuses for the psychologist or, you know, whatever. I'm just saying that I'm sure it's not something that you find yourself in every day.
No, but you train for it. You train for it, right? Like the attorney-client privilege is unbreakable, except in certain cases. If you think that they're going to harm themselves, that they have or are going to harm others, then you are required, at least by California law, to alert the authorities. And he didn't.
I mean, it was
he told his girlfriend.
Right?
He didn't call the cops.
I know. I don't know. Maybe he thought he was going to get a book deal out of it. Who the hell knows?
Right. It's something that was going to line his pockets.
It's something that he had to, you know, this is like, I think that there was, you know, there was some ego going on there with this guy, obviously, because, you know, the simplest thing would be to just go to the authorities.
It's back to school season, and Clorox is donating 2 million disinfecting wipes to classrooms across America. Because back to school means things can get a little bit messy. Just ask second grade teacher Mr. Torres.
Put me and just one Clorox wipe on a team? We can take on crayon smudges, sticky fingerprints on every surface, sneezes on the door handle, juice box explosion by the sink, snack crumbs, and don't even get me started on the bathroom passes.
Clorox disinfecting wipes, teacher's #1 wipe.
Think about it. Bathroom passes.
Clean feels good. Based on unit sales data.
Subtle results, still you, but with fewer lines. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
Heather is a nurse practitioner from United Healthcare.
We meet patients wherever they live.
During a house call, she found Jack had an issue.
Jack's blood pressure was dangerously high.
It was 217 over 110.
So they got Jack to the hospital and got him the help he needed.
He had had a stent placed in his heart, preventing a massive heart attack.
If it wasn't for my guardian angel, I wouldn't be here.
Hear more stories like Jack's at UnitedHealthcare.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan, area, limitation, and exclusions apply.
The first trial seemed very complicated and very, by the book, right? 2 juries, you allow, all the evidence, and they didn't get acquitted. There's a hung jury, right? They couldn't agree because they had so many charges to choose from.
6 manslaughter, 6 first-degree murder.
Yeah.
6 manslaughter, 6 first-degree murder in both. So it was a hung jury.
So then the LA prosecutor's office gets their asses kicked for a couple of years on some big cases. So when
Yeah.
this one
The
comes back
biggest case,
around, yeah,
O.J. Simpson.
yeah. So when this
Yeah.
one comes back around, they're like, it's not happening again. And so it kind of sounds like they stacked the deck a little bit. They only gave one possibility for the jury. They're either innocent or it's first degree murder.
Yeah. And then they didn't allow any of the mitigating circumstances,
Nothing.
the majority of the abuse, which
The
is
abuse excuse they wouldn't allow in,
right.
probably because the decedents couldn't defend themselves. So I kind of understand the abuse excuse thing because, our great friend Ken Lanning, right? What he would say was there are biases that exist, right? There's the investigative bias where they have to think that they're always being lied to. And there's the therapeutic bias where therapists always believe that they're being told the truth. Okay. And so, without anyone to refute what they're saying, that would be kind of be accepted as facts and evidence. We were abused.
I mean,
You wouldn't
I
let
think
them say
they
it.
just didn't want to prejudice the jury against the victims. And I get that, but I feel like this case, most people don't just kill their parents for no reason,
But some do.
You're right. Some do. You're right. You're right. I think that's why this case is so hard, because either way, whether their allegations are true, it's horrifically sad. And if they're not true, which I believe they're true, it's horrifically sad because they murdered their parents. So
Have
it's
you
like,
watched the recent different medias on this, the documentary and the scripted thing? Have you seen them both?
I didn't watch the scripted one. I started watching the documentary one with the Menudo. I'll just say it. One of the people that are coming forward, and we'll go into this more in
Menudo from the band.
The band Menudo. Remember Menudo?
I remember their song "In a Shopping Mall." Made me want to.
I don't even remember their
made
song.
me want to beat the shit out of somebody. It was, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's what I'll play when I see you for the first time.
Gosh. In a shopping mall. Like, just
Was
stop.
that really the name of the song?
The name of the song is them being in a shopping mall, and it's called "In a Shopping Mall." And there was a
Okay,
video.
I didn't even remember that. I just
Yeah.
remembered them on stage and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll get into that in part 2, but remember, I'll just give this tease. Jose Menendez was the president of RCA, a record company, and he made a deal. He was Menudo signed with RCA, so there was a connection to Menudo, and that was a boys band.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Was he getting a little sideways with the boys in the band? Because you age out of Menudo at like 16 or 17.
You know what? It's funny that you know this. I didn't know this
Oh,
until
really?
I started watching the documentary. I didn't know it. No,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that at 16, you're out.
You're out. Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
out.
You're out.
You're
We'll
out.
replace you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you even know that? If
I
you're
know
like,
things. I know things.
major
I don't know.
athlete, how do you know that you had? Did you like apply or something?
Yeah, I applied. A white kid from Jersey is going to be in Menudo. Yeah. That was my dream. That was my dream. Oh, I'm crushed that I have to admit it. But no, I was going to say something. I forget what the fuck it was now. Hold on. Now my daughter, my older daughter, and my niece think that one of the actors from the TV show is really, really hot, is what they say. Apparently,
Yeah.
one of the actors playing the brothers is like now he's got all the tween girls all a flutter. So
A flutter.
yeah, yeah. I haven't watched any of them. I haven't watched either of them, but I think I should. What I do remember is that the trial was parodied in the movie The Cable Guy. Do you remember The Cable Guy?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey. All right.
Ben Stiller, right?
Ben Stiller
Yeah, Ben
directed
Stiller.
it.
Okay,
but Ben
yeah.
Stiller also played. He had no lines. He played as if he were one of the, like, a Menendez type of person on trial for murder, and it was always in the background on the TV sets, right? And then throughout the movie, you hear a little snippet that the trial was over. Later on in the movie, the jury's been deliberating for weeks and blah, 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 blah. And then right at the end, for the climax of the movie, all right, where Jim Carrey's on top of this tower and the huge satellite dish is right there receiving every TV signal in the world, right? And they go live to the trial, and they're about to read the verdict. We find the plaintiff just as he lands in the dish and blacks out every single TV in the world, so no one hears what the verdict is. Yeah, pretty funny.
Awesome.
But Ben Stiller put himself in makeup to look like a Latin kid. So he was obviously.
You know what's so funny is that I just watched a little reel or whatever with Ben Stiller acting like Tom Cruise.
Oh, he's hilarious.
It was so funny. It's
with
like I haven't
Tom Cruise, right?
With Tom Cruise.
Yeah. Oh
with
my
Tom
gosh.
Cruise, and it was so funny. I mean, I just feel like I haven't seen. I loved Ben Stiller when he first came out. Like, what was that movie that he was in? Was he in Singles?
Reality
No,
Bites.
Reality Bites.
He wrote and directed that. He wrote and directed it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when we were all in our 20s. Yeah, that was the Gen X, like.
Believe me, it's not lost on me. I love that movie. I loved Ben Stiller and
Ethan Hawke.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke. Yeah.
What's her name? Yeah. Yeah.
The Crew.
Great movie. Really, really great movie. Wow. So the second trial, obviously they're convicted and they get life without parole and see you later. Now, 30 years later, now all of a sudden people are like, maybe they should get out. Like, who knows? Maybe they should have gotten manslaughter. Maybe I really don't know what's going to happen, but I see these headlines, in the local news that it looks like they could be resentenced. They have a good shot.
What do you think now that you know a little bit more about it?
I don't feel like I know a little bit more about it.
Other than Cable Guy.
No, I don't feel like I know a little bit more about it because I feel like I've gotten one side of the story, Like if I were basing it purely on this, yeah, sure, of course. If everything is that I've heard is true, a person could only take so much, right?
I don't think you're going to get the other side of the story. Like you said,
it's impossible. We can't get the other side.
We can't get the other side. So that's what makes this so tough. Like, since you probably won't get the other side, what do you think?
I don't know. Listen, I think that I don't know the whole menudo of it all. Okay.
You just know that you get kicked out at 16.
Correct.
Because you're
too old. You're way too old at 16. I think that if this guy, Jose Menendez, was like a pedophile and a sexual predator, was he so sick and so controlling that he was only doing it to his own children? First of all, okay, I don't know. Would that be unique in the realm of sexual predators? Is it more likely that there would be a lot of other victims out there, is what I'm saying, that haven't come forward? He's in LA, he's working in the entertainment industry, he probably has access to a lot of targets, right? So
come on, look at the Me Too movement. Women didn't want to say anything because they get blacklisted. They beat out. And so it took an entire movement for people to, brave people to come forward and say, this happened to me and this happened to me. It's the same thing.
Sure, I totally agree. But never once in the past 30 something years did one kid have the balls to say, you know what? He did it to me too. He did it to me, either coming out through therapy or through sobriety or on a deathbed confession. Jose Menendez molested me for a long time. And, something that would have opened the floodgates to expose a lot of additional victims. Because for right now, it looks like, it's only his own sons.
Okay, well, it's not anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't ruin the episode. Make me look.
I'm not. But you know what?
Okay.
I had to put you in your place immediately.
Okay.
Get in there.
It would have to be a lot more than one more, is what I'm saying.
What are you talking about? What about those boys? Like those descriptions? You can't fucking make that up. Are you kidding me?
You can't make it up. What do you mean you can't make it up? Of course you can make it up.
I meant the way that he described the grooming and the manipulation, the sporting events, and how the dad, like, I felt like listening to it, I had to, it's like I was in that sick
I
It's
completely
like
understand, but I can give you 3 books. I can give you The Lords of Discipline, I can give you The Great Santini, and I can give you 9.5 Weeks, right? For controlling, manipulative, sexual power, right? That is wielded over a perceived weaker individual that is desperately in need of validation from an authority figure. Okay.
well, from
Of
the
course you can
father,
read that.
the ultimate authority
I know,
figure,
I
the
know,
ultimate
I know.
authority
But
figure.
really, I mean, you 100% could fabricate these stories. I'm not saying that they did, but you
I just
can.
don't believe I
Okay.
don't believe
And
that they
granted, and that's fine, and I completely accept that. I completely accept that.
Yes.
What I'm
Yes.
saying
Yeah.
is that yes, they could be fabricated, especially in Hollywood. Um, Shit, it wouldn't surprise me if they hired a writer to write it for them. But what I'm saying, what I'm saying is that it would seem I would want to. I'm very interested if that is like I'd want to ask someone like Ken Lanning, right, or someone smarter on it than me, like if that incestuous, repeated male on like father on son rape, right, has been a profiled type of malady, a profiled type of sexual kind of disease in someone's head. Like that's all that they want to do. Like that's something that's broken in their brain that I just want to rape my sons over and over again. I'd be interested to see if that's a thing.
I think that it goes on, as we've talked about so many times before.
And only
There's
with your kids, right?
well, hold on a second. I
Yeah.
don't think that there's like I think somebody who'd be willing to do that would be willing to do it to anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that usually and of course neither of us are experts, but from the work of working on these podcasts and things like that, talking to experts, it's like I just feel like, especially male on male, there's such a stigma, and even though, yes,
Agreed.
you
And
know,
it's the ultimate power play too. I get it. Yeah.
and
I
then
get
the threats against their lives, and but to believe it, and when you have a father that's that abusive, tyrannical, you believe that that person is. I believed these kids. I did. Now,
Okay.
should they have murdered their parents?
Yeah.
No.
So and all right. And so then is that anger and that volcanic kind of release, is that powerful enough to go out and reload and come back and blow your mother's face off when she wasn't the actual abuser? She was a facilitator. Is that on par with the actual abuser?
I mean, I
Right?
think that your mother is
Supposed to protect you. Yeah.
a primal. That's
It's the primary. She's the one who should have said, "Stop doing
and
this."
and
And
and,
she was
and
like,
for her
"Nobody
to
ever
say,
helped me." Did you believe that part?
I mean, I think that
That a mom would say, "Hey, I don't care if dad's raping you. No one ever helped me. Take care of it." Like, does that
I feel like you would have to know. You would have to know. But I mean, we've done these shows, and we're like, how could she possibly not know? We
I
don't. We
know, I'm
won't.
not saying I'm saying that she knew. The kids are saying that mom knew,
Yes,
even
and
when we
I
told
think
her. She's like, "Yeah, deal with it. No one ever helped me. I'm not helping you. Deal with it."
I feel like I've seen a prototype of narcissistic people that are like that.
Hmm.
She viewed her sons, and what I had heard on tape is that Jose Menendez was so controlling over their lives that he would take them to all these tennis matches, he would take them to all their I mean, they were competition for the mother, for her attention to Jose. And he was putting everything into these boys in all the wrong ways, if their allegations are true, controlling beyond anything. I think that, yeah, there are narcissistic women out there that are mothers that she didn't protect her children. Just like there's deadbeat dads, there are definitely moms that you know
Right. It just seems particularly a particularly callous way to counter a child's like plea for help.
I think we don't want to believe that. It's our bias. I feel like I
No,
don't want to believe.
my thing is that with allegations this severe, it's just so
Mm,
unfortunate that they're not here to defend themselves against it. And
yeah.
it seems a little convenient that they had their faces blown off, right? Almost like making sure you can't talk and give us up, right? Making sure that your actual mouths are disintegrated, right? So you can't tell our secret that we murdered you for your money. You know, that's where my brain went. But again, I'm never going to know.
Like, I mean, I don't even think it's Freudian, but just the human nature of why people do what they do. It's subconscious. Like, what you're saying, could that be true? Yes. Did they also want to make it look like a mob hit? Yes. Did they also, I mean, I think that they, they were more effective than the other guy who came up with the whole thing with the, the guy who came over to break into the house. Two kids.
Hey, I'm here for the S&M party. I'm going to break in, naughty burglar. Hey, boy, I'm going to choke you out.
I mean, I think that,
you're a really good actress. You really seem to not like what I'm doing to you. This fucking poor guy. Oh my gosh.
Anyway, I just think that they had, final thing, they, who knows if they would have actually gotten away with it, if they would have been able to like not, their guilty conscience coming forward, with that.
Because, I mean, they were so smart. They got rid of their bloody clothes. They got rid of the stuff. They did. I mean, they were behaving like criminals. Like they knew they did something wrong. That if they got caught, it would be bad, right?
Yeah.
So what if they were just both sitting there with the gun, saying we had to kill them? The abuse had gotten too much. Yeah, that would have been different, maybe. But listen, I'll never listen. Unfortunately. My not really full-throated argument, but just, my ponderings about this are always they're never going to get answered because Jose and Kitty are dead and they can't say, what are you talking about? I never touched him. We went to all those soccer games. I'm trying to instill a sense of ambition and competition in a healthy way in my kids. And the mom's like, what do you mean? I love my boys. And come in, whatever. Who knows? Right. And what if their biggest sin was spoiling their kids in a Beverly Hills mansion to the point where the kids wanted that life without having to work for it. Right. And so they turned to murder. I mean, you could just as easily make that argument, which is the argument that was made and won the day in court. Right. So I don't know. I'm interested in I'm going to go watch these recent pieces on it right now and see how I feel. And I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
All right, great.
In the meantime, I will see you on Thursday. Yes. And until then, nation, thank you. If you know somebody who might need to listen to this episode, please share it with them. And go over to Apple Podcast and rate and review. It helps more than you know. And also, these great companies that support our show, consider supporting them because we couldn't do it without them. So until next time, Carolyn, anything to add?
Nope. We'll see you next week.
Great. Stay safe out there, everybody.
From Cloud 10, Criminal Mischief is a pie-in-the-sky production recorded in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself. Music by Soundstripe. I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.